Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person to congratulate Randy, but thanks for letting me say a few words via video. Randy, I know from our work together at the Minnesota Business Partnership and in the board of Greater MSP what a fantastic leader you are. You have clearly earned this honor for the transformation of Pentair, for your contributions to our community, and for your determination to bring fresh water to people who have never had it before. And I'm sure that work is purely altruistic. Now, as many of you may know from the fine reporting in the Business Journal, when Randy took the reins 11 years ago, Pentair was known for power tools. But Randy, he's a visionary. He saw the power tools business throttling down, and he recognized that Pentair's smallest business at the time, its water products business, had great potential to rev up. So Randy totally transformed the company. He sold off the power tools business, then he powered up the water business through a series of acquisitions, which clearly is a sign of genius, looking for water for growth. But Randy's strategy has paid off. Revenues have doubled, earnings have quadrupled, and Pentair stock has tripled during his tenure. A pretty impressive record, any way you look at it. And we could leave it at that. But I think it really misses the genius that is Randy. And that genius is Randy's marketing brilliance. The full extent of this acumen, his acumen in the marketing area, is almost incomprehensible to most of us. It's not just chess to our checkers, but Randy plays this game 8 layers deep, probably too deep for anyone in the room to comprehend. So my take is that Randy can see what's not obvious to the rest of us. Most of us are hung up on having a company name that clearly describes what we do, or at least is aspirational, but Randy cuts through the predictable and cuts through the clutter. So to prove that Randy can see what no one else does, we went out and asked some people around town a simple question. What do you think Pentair does?
Store air? I don't know. Pent up air?
I've never even heard of them. How do you spell it?
I think it's air treatment, but I don't know. That's a guess.
They take these little hairs and they pin them in somebody else's head.
I think they should change their name. Don't have the slightest idea.
So is there any doubt that Randy is playing at a level that is incomprehensible to mere mortals? I asked a few others who know Randy well to help further explain what's behind his amazing success. It's not just marketing. There are plenty other attributes that have really defined Randy in the person that he's turned into. So I first turned to Scott Wine, who leads Polaris and shares Randy's interest in water, especially if it's frozen and plentiful. So Scott?
Thanks, Doug, and congratulations, Randy. It's quite an honor to be able to say a few words about what Randy's brought to the community and how he received this great honor. I'd like to reflect back on Randy's beginnings because, he spent a couple of years at the Coast Guard Academy, and that probably formed his leadership skills. And then he goes on to MIT, and certainly that contributed to the great intellect that he has. And then, through his career at General Electric, learned great execution skills. And, by the time he made his way to United Technologies and led the Transicold business very successfully. But Randy knew that staying at United Technologies couldn't be the right road because all roads there lead to Hartford, and being a Boston boy, you couldn't live in Hartford. So he set his sights on Minneapolis, and one of the opportunities that people may not know is that Randy could have been the CEO of Polaris. He talked to the board, but his fascination with water and his experience at Transicold, he talked about this big idea, and Randy has big ideas, of perhaps making this giant snow machine that could make sure our snowmobile business could always be successful whether we had no snow or not. Now, I'm not sure the board appreciated the idea, but boy, I'd like to have that machine now. But Randy also, not only be a big thinker, is just a great leader, and you see that not only by the team that he's built at Pentair, but also how he leads in the community. And I've personally benefited from that. Coming new to the Twin Cities, Randy quickly pulled me aside and said, Scott, I'll be glad to help you, and if you have any dumb questions, and sometimes new CEOs have those, and I will tell you that Randy has been immeasurably helpful in answering every dumb question that I've had.
Thanks, Scott. That's a great example of Randy, again, seeing the unobvious. So let's see what Dave McLennan, President and COO of Cargill, thinks. Dave, in your mind, what's made Randy the spectacular success he is today?
Thanks, Doug. What's been the secret to Randy Hogan's spectacular success?
Cut. Randy Hogan's secret to success, take 2.
Thanks, Doug. What's been the secret to Randy Hogan's spectacular success? I would have to say that it's
Cut.
Okay, I got some. I got a couple. I got it. Thanks, Doug. What's been the secret to Randy Hogan's spectacular success? I think it's his ability to see the glass half full. So I first met Randy back in 2004, and I was being asked to consider going on the board of the Guthrie. And I had a lot of questions of Randy, and he was on the governance committee at the time, and we went out with some people from the staff, and I was concerned about the time commitment and would I be able to make all the meetings, and it was a big board, and Randy leans over to me and says, "Don't worry about the board meetings. I never go, but you get free tickets." So I appreciate Randy's creativity and looking at the glass half full. Speaking of glass half full, there was also a time that I was at a dinner with him, and he had a glass of what he said was refreshing Pentair filtered water. Well, I was feeling a little thirsty, so I leaned over and tastes a lot like vodka.
Dave, terrific insight. I think we're getting closer to understanding the core that makes up Randy. So now let's turn to someone who has real insight into the minds and souls of great leaders. Charlie Weaver, Executive Director of the Minnesota Business Partnership. Charlie, what do you think has made Randy the man he is?
What's Randy Hogan's secret? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? He's really two people. That's right. He cloned himself. People don't know this, but at Pentair, there's a super secret laboratory where they clone stuff. They started with rats and monkeys and ended up with Randy. Think about it. How else do you explain Randy Hogan, professional wrestler, and Randy Hogan, button-down CEO and Executive of the Year? Or Randy Hogan, original lead singer for Cheap Trick, and then Randy Hogan, board chair of the Guthrie Theater. Or Randy Hogan, owner of gas-guzzling sports cars, boats, and farm machinery, and then Randy Hogan, president of NPR. Or Randy Hogan, Tea Party patriot, and then Randy Hogan, who occupies a seat on the Federal Reserve. Oh, he's two people, all right, as scary as that is to those of us who know him. And I'm not sure which one is with you today at lunch, but whichever one it is, I say well done, sir. Well done.
Well, thank you, Charlie. That's a very unique insight and a very unique take on the world, which is what we expect out of you. So I do think we now have a better sense of what makes Randy the special leader he is today. And all fun aside, Randy, you're a great business leader. You've been a force in the community, and you're a lot of fun. You richly deserve this honor. So congratulations.
On behalf of the entire team at Polaris, Randy, congratulations.
Congratulations, Randy.
Way to go, Randy. We're proud of you.
So what can we say as a final salutation to one of the world's most interesting men in the water business? Stay thirsty, my friend.